Hello everyone, Rad Dave here. Welcome to my beginner's tutorial on how to play active defense in Guilty Gear Strive. One of the things I've been noticing throughout the discourse surrounding this game, especially on the Guilty Gear Strive Facebook group, is a lot of people are struggling to know their options against certain very strong special moves. And so this video is meant to show you a few options that you have against those particular special moves. There are quite a few moves in this game, and in particular special moves, that have a lot of very advantageous properties for the attacking player. In particular, they tend to be plus on block. Additionally, a lot of these special moves on counter hit will lead to a full combo punish. And so these moves can be quite oppressive if you don't know how to deal with them. However, this game is designed so that these moves do tend to have a direct counter, and understanding those counters is going to be integral to being able to deal with these. An example of a move that I'm referring to is going to be Giovanna's Drill. So Giovanna's Drill is plus on block, and in addition, like I mentioned, on counter hit, it is going to lead to a full combo. What I mean by plus on block is that if the opponent blocks this move, the attacking player is able to input their first action before the opponent or the person that blocked it is going to be able to input their first action. So in order to display this, I am going to do the drill, and I have Kai set to block the drill and then counter attack with his stand kick. And as you can see, I as the Giovanna player will be able to input my stand kick before Kai's come out, and I will be able to counter hit Kai. Additionally, as I mentioned, on counter hit, as you can see, I screwed up the OTG a little bit, but on counter hit that leads to a full combo, and that, as you can see, did a pretty hefty amount of damage, and that what I did was far from optimal. Due to the strong properties of this move, you can see that if you're stuck in a situation like this where you're in the corner and they continue to drill at the end of their block strings, you are not going to be able to get out of this pressure by jumping or by hitting a button. And additionally, afterwards, if you decide to do anything, you're just going to get counter hit into full combo. So clearly, in a situation like this, you're going to need some sort of option to directly deal with the drill. So one of the main defensive options that this game gives you is 6P, or forward and punch button, which is shown here. This is what Kai is doing. 6P is what they call upper body invincible. So generally you'll see this move used as an anti-air, and the reason for that is by upper body invincibility we mean that anything that hits the upper part of your body, so essentially from your character's torso up, this move will essentially ignore those moves and you'll be able to blast right through it and presumably get a counter hit. So this move is used traditionally as an anti-air. However, it also can be used against a lot of these special moves that are plus on block and have a lot of advantageous properties. So in order to show this, I have Geo set to a pretty simple block string, and I am going to, when I see drill, I am going to 6B out of drill, and you will notice that I'll get a counter hit, which then can be canceled into a special move to continue the combo. Additionally, on a character-specific note, Giovanna also has her flip, her quarter circle back slash, and that move is also plus on block, and 6P will also beat this move. So to show that, other examples of moves that can be beaten by 6P include May's slow dolphin, as well as Kai's flip. The next important defensive option is going to be throws in order to interrupt special moves. The reason that this works is that throw is actually your fastest input. It comes in at 2 frames. The fastest button outside of throw is Soul's 5K, which comes in at 3 frames, as well as Chip's 5P, which I believe comes in at 3 frames, but it may be 4. So if any of these special moves that we're referring to has a 2-frame gap, you're going to be able to throw your opponent out of it, assuming that the move puts them close enough so that your throw will actually connect. The move that we're going to show, or the move that we're going to use to showcase this, is going to be Leo's back turn. So the reason this move is strong is it is this move here. This move side switches, so it forces you to block the other way. It crosses you up. It is also plus on block, and then it puts him into his back turn stance, which is essentially where his offense really shines. So Leo is a good character outside of back turn stance, but once he gets into back turn stance, he becomes a very hard character to deal with, and his offense becomes much better. So here I will show you a simple block string, and then as he goes for the back turn, we're going to throw him out of it. One thing that's important to note about this is that a lot of times if you're blocking Leo, you will be holding down back. If you hold down back trying to throw, you will get counter hit out of the throw because it is going to read that as you trying to sweep or 5D. So importantly, you are going to have to change the direction in which you throw to be either forward or reverse. You can't do the corner inputs, so the 1 input or the 3 input. Other useful examples of throwing your opponent out of a dangerous special move include Soul's Fafnir. Angie Mito's Invulnerable Spin. And Eno's heavy version of Stroke the Tree. Now lastly, this option involves a little bit of labbing. It's not quite as direct as either 6P'ing them out of their pressure or throwing them out of their pressure. However, I did want to go over it because the purpose of this video is to tell you about your defensive options that you might have against particularly belligerent offense that you're going to run into a lot as you start playing online. And so the last option is going to be rammed corner pressure, and this one's pretty straightforward. The main thing is that once her sword hits the wall, you have time to either jump out of the corner or actually just run out of the corner in order to avoid the explosion of the sword. So I'll demonstrate that. As you can see, I was able to run out of the distance of the sword, or out of the distance of the sword explosion, I should say. And so I wasn't put in the block stun by that. This is particularly easy if you map dash to one of your buttons, which I think you probably should do anyway. I think it also makes general gameplay easier, but I think in particular it makes reacting to certain defensive situations quite a bit easier. So that is the last defensive tip that I have for you today. As I mentioned before, I really just wanted to create a guide to help you combat some of the belligerent offense that you're going to run into online. I know that this game is very high octane and it can seem very frustrating, and some of these options have made people in the past feel like they have no options, and they feel particularly frustrated in these matchups. So I hope this helps. If it did help, please leave a like at the bottom of the video, and I will be back soon for more Guilty Gear Strive content. Stay tuned and stay rad.